What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the podcast. I've got some very special friends with me. Got Andrew Sabbatino, got Jonathan Kendall, and myself, Los Silva, aka Los Hustle on Instagram, if you want to go say hello. Today we have a few topics that we're talking about. One of them is funnels. We're going to talk about what's happening in the space of internet marketing today, and much, much more. So without further ado, we're going to get started. What's up, guys?
How's it going, man?
Hello.
How are you guys?
I'm good. Thanks for having us on.
Yeah. I'm excited to have you guys on. So where do we get started? We got a lot of topics. And what were we talking about before? It's weird because, like, you have such good conversations before the podcast starts, and you start and it almost has to, like, restart the conversation. You know what I mean? But what were we jamming on?
Yeah, so we're kind of talking about some of the things that we're all working on sort of together and separately. We're doing a lot of stuff with funnels right now. We're doing a lot of stuff with content, and we're building out like all the systems right now to actually scale those businesses.
Yeah, so I think that we were talking with, the guys have been here for a couple of days now. We're kind of like doing a big play for all week, just systemizing a lot of the businesses that we have together and apart, and that we're working on. And one thing is funnels, right? Funnels right now, I think, obviously, if you're in the creator, personal brand space, coach, consultant, service provider, you're probably doing some sort of high ticket model. And I think that the future is kind of going to start going low ticket, not because high ticket's going away, but because marketing is cyclical. 2017 and 18, you saw ascension models go into webinars, go into high ticket, and then you got just webinars, ascension started to go down, and then you got high ticket. And then that was kind of like a 4-year, it's still happening right now. It's a 4 or 5 year phase consistently. Webinars people are exhausted with because that was 2008 all the way up to almost 2020. And I think now you're going to see ascension funnels and challenge funnels be a great source to acquire people, bring them into some sort of community, email list, text thread, Discord, Facebook group, whatever it is that you want, have relationships with them, connect with them, build a 3 to 6 month cycle of content and distribution inside of that, and then ascend people into high ticket.
Yeah, I think challenge funnels will probably always work. You might need to call them something else, like moving forward. We were just looking at one yesterday, and they were calling it a virtual workshop instead of a challenge because the word challenge was kind of beat up.
Yeah.
Especially during COVID, people were just running everything challenge because they were working and no one could do live events. So everyone kind of got burned out on kind of like webinars, but now they're just calling them virtual workshops and doing the exact same thing. But you're connecting with your community and providing value on those over a 4-day period. So the know, like, and trust factor is so much higher when they actually get to the point of sale. So I think, like, even compared to a webinar, people just trust you so much more because they're live and they're over 4 days.
Yeah, I think webinars suck. Webinars are so boring. I mean, do they work? They work. I really do think that for the most part, they only work now for super, super newbies, people that are just kind of in the state of awareness of, like, just trying to make anything happen online. Like people that are a little bit more seasoned or have done something, know they're in a webinar, know they're about to get pitched. And I just don't think people have 2 hours anymore,
Well, speaking to that too, with everyone's attention spans right now, do you think webinars are going to come back ever?
Hell no.
I think
it's VSLs.
Yeah, and even like people who did VSLs, those have been drastically changing from like hour VSL to 20-minute VSLs. Now they're like 5-minute VSLs in most cases.
Yeah, our highest converting VSL is 7 minutes. And it's me and Josh just sitting here and similar like this. And we just honestly even went off the cuff. We were just like, this is what it is. This is who it's for. This is who it's not for. This is what we offer. Click the link and apply. I think, and what do you think, Jonathan? I think that, there's obviously always elements of direct response, but I think that the reality is people just want to know, hey, this is what this is. Let's not BS anymore. I don't have that kind of time to be tricked.
Yeah. One of my partners says sometimes you have to say the quiet thing out loud.
Yeah.
Meaning just tell the truth. Just have radical candor. Just like you said, this is who it's for. This is who it's not for. What I'm obsessed with, and I think what we're all obsessed with right now, is combining what works in the digital marketing direct response game, which is all of these persuasion tactics and having the right hook and everything that we already know. And if you're listening to this, you might be in the game as well. But the problem with that is you have this constant flow up and down of an offer, and you're changing the offer or you're rejiggering, the features and then calling it something different. And not only does it feel, I think, bad for your soul, where you're just playing this game all the time and you're constantly looking for the next trend or the next way to approach it. What I want to do, and I think what we all want to do together, is say, what problem do we solve for the world better than everyone else? Mm-hmm. At the same way that a Fortune 500 company is asking that question, or a Silicon Valley company is asking that question. Like, really, what do we do at scale, or could we do at scale better than any other person? Because I believe that money is just an exchange of value.
Right.
So, you pay for entertainment or a service or a physical product or education. Those are really the 4 ways that we pay money for anything. Mm-hmm. And you got, as a business owner, I'm thinking, what can I do? What can I bring in one of those 4 categories is that other people can't bring consistently? And then how do you solve it at a high ticket level? I think that's fine. But then also, to your point about the Ascension model, what is a $29, $49, $7, $99 version of that? That's whether it's a template or a PDF or a system or something that you can bring people on that gives them true value, as you said, then bring them into your community and ascend them up the ladder for someone that might want more of a done-for-you service or whatever it may be. But I think that the whole direct response industry needs to start thinking more like big boys, thinking more like Silicon Valley. Or imagine if you got $50 million in funding and use the skills that you have to now help 100 million people instead of your 5,000 students, right? That's an interesting question. And if you reverse engineer that, that's how you can create generational wealth. It takes a little bit more time, but that's what I'm interested in right now.
Yeah, I think it's also using direct response tactics in different niches, right? Like we were talking about doing it in like the roofing space.
Yeah.
How easy that would be for us. I mean, we would have the largest roofing company, and I'm helping a buddy do it. So like we're going to have the largest roofing company in Orlando in probably a few months, right? Because all you have to do is say that, create enough impressions that are geo-targeted, and then from there on, like his face will be plastered everywhere, bigger than any billboard. You actually buy one billboard just for fun to like really cement the mind fuck of that. And then your phone's ringing off the hook and you can't keep up. You got to find new crews every day. I got a buddy who did this in pools. He used to sell some stuff on Amazon. He's like, dude, I can't stand this. But he made good money. He tried to get a pool done. They told him the price. He was like, dude, I can get this done by myself. And he did. And now he went from zero, never knowing how to make a pool, to 20 million in 2 years building pools. Because it's easy. I mean, there's so many things that are easily disrupted. I always say, like, we're fighting in like the Harvard of marketing. It's supplement funnels and ascension stuff for make money online. Those are the hardest thing. You're playing with gangsters and you're succeeding and you're crushing. And so like going around and doing any other offer, you can do it half asleep from like 1 to 2 p.m. That's it, So I want to start venturing into a few of those things. But speaking of that, what do you guys think is going to happen with direct response and really the industries that we're in, direct consumer with the e-com stuff, and then personal brands, coaches, consultants, service providers, because we're technically in a recession. I mean, I don't know what midterms are going to look like, but if they're bad, we're going to be in a depression, just like dictionary like level word of that. It would be four quarters of that. So that'll probably put us in a depression. People are freaking out about gas. Totally understandable. Inflation's crazy. If you look at inflation, it is higher, but it's so much smaller no one thinks about making more money. Everyone thinks like, oh my God, this costs 30 more cents. This is 75 more cents. And I understand it, but I think that mindset's what keeps people thinking about inflation and not being like, well, I'll just hedge it by being 10 times better than that, So what do you guys think is going to happen with all this?
Like, just speaking to what you were talking about, like e-commerce, personal brands, blah, 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 like they're two separate things now. I think they're one and the same now. Right? You have to have both. Even if you're an e-commerce owner, you can't just be a faceless, mindless store anymore at this point. Like, it has to exist in an ecosystem where there's at least a face of the company. If it's not you, it has to be someone else. And I think that is a way to like leverage off of a lot of these networks like Facebook that everyone's losing their ass on for ads. Google keeps getting harder. Obviously, YouTube is good for a lot of people, but it's also extremely hard to get right. I think just being able to leverage like a lot of stuff we're doing here, lots of organic marketing will definitely help people that are like in our space. But I think there's just kind of going to be a massive pivot though, like during this recession, like all the brands that were just like getting by are going to disappear, right? There's so many of them operating on like net negative or like 5% margins that just aren't going to exist. Amazon's going to win in that space. Like everything e-commerce is going to be on Amazon at some point.
100%. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think I keep on going back to these foundational, like first principles of how we interact with each other as human beings, as animals. Like, what am I doing for you that really provides actual value to you and your family in your life? Mm-hmm. And the closer you can get to these fundamentals, which is, for example, I can help your business survive, right? Like you're a business owner.
That's a great ad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like straight up, exactly. I can help your business survive.
I can help your business survive. What are you going to need? You need to tighten up your systems. You need to become more efficient. You probably need to fire some people that aren't working. You need to have a new funnel. You need to, there's a series of things that are, depending on the company, you can help with. But this random supplement versus a service that is going to make them more money, mm-hmm. I think the services will win out right now. And I think that a lot of people have transferable skills and they're applying it to their own specific product brand, and that's fine. But to your point, if you productize yourself and your own skill by creating a personal brand around it, then now you're diversifying your personal portfolio and the portfolio of your company. And you see, we see this a lot in our industry where people are, well, what am I good at? What have I done? Oh, well, I'm good at media buying. Well, how do I do that? Well, I'm really good at training media buyers. And then you're like, well, other people need media buyers. So maybe I should productize that because I become sort of a recruiting company, or we do media buying, but then they're really bad at that. So we actually make the creative. So now we add the creative to it. And then we say, well, what'd be great is if you also had organic, because then we could only retarget rather than doing top of the funnel targeting. And then you say, well, either you're going to go to another place and let them do organic, or you keep it in-house, or we could do your email. Mm-hmm. So I think that's the thing that we've been talking about is becoming more of a full stack service operator, because it just as a business owner, I think you have an obligation to your employees and your clients to be able to help them. And if they have, a lifetime value problem and you don't have that solution, you can either put your hands up in the air and say, oh, well, it's not really working. Or if you're an ad buying agency and you have to fire someone, you can say, oh, well, because the algorithm changed, I don't know. It's like, that's not a very good answer.
Yeah, I think right now it's about being dynamic. It's about pivoting in a dynamic, strategic way. And if you're really smart, I think there's opportunity. I work with a lot of people in the PowerHouse group on helping them set up almost vertical integration. Like our brands, when we started this stuff, a lot of these things are like, it seems like you're doing a lot. And now everyone's like, man, like it's so specific how everything does everything else to the other one. Because you start somewhere, then you have a service with us. You come into PowerHouse, whether you're direct to consumer or a personal brand, and then we have services that support that. Then we have a brokerage that helps you sell it. Then we have a wealth group that helps you buy real estate on the top of that. I mean, like we're set up and everything speaks to each other. And if you need support on anything else, we have affiliatemarketing.com. And that's another thing that, it's another funnel that spreads and can support everything. It's being fully vertically integrated is how, the Fortune 500s like work. They're a full system that everything is another profit center, right? And I think Dan Kennedy or somebody said it, like if someone's not buying something from you, they're buying it from somebody else. So you can build out enough companies or enough divisions in your if you want, right? If you want to have a lifestyle business and chill by the ocean, I think it's a terrible idea, but you can do that for sure, to each their own. But I think that you can set up really strategic systems, and that's the problem with a lot of internet marketers and even a lot of e-commerce people. They don't think like, man, like I'm spending so much money. What if I made a deal and I acquired a percentage of a logistics pay, pack, and ship place? I'm spending so much money on these funnels. But I'm bringing so many leads for this. My other group needs funnels. What if I did this? What if I, what if I created or got a piece of this or brought stuff in house and became a profit center instead of a place where I lose money,
Yeah.
It's essentially an ascension model too. It's just a very large ascension funnel.
Long.
They come in through basically the mastermind. We help them with things, and then they get to the next level, and they need help with more things.
Yeah, it's
Or vice versa.
It's lifetime value.
They could come in for email and then they need coaching, or they come in for a funnel.
Once you're in, though, you're not out. You can't leave.
Yeah,
I mean, you can, but you don't because there's so much help. I mean, we've had people be like, hey, I sold my business from the brokerage and I don't have a business to be in PowerHouse, but I'm going to rejoin so I can figure out what's next. And, what I'll start with is a consulting funnel because I just sold this business. Why don't you guys on the other side build a funnel? So you would do that's 4 things from someone who was going to leave because we succeeded for them. You know what I mean? So it's become great. And I think that the people that are completely killing it, like my buddy Ravi Abudallah, who's doing remote integrators, and he basically has a recruitment side on the back and services and coaching and consulting. I think that's the future. Is it harder? Is it more work? Is it more people? For sure. But that's business. I mean, if you're a group of 5 and you're just kind of chilling and you don't have anything else, you're going to get swallowed. And, it's a market share thing. It's can you get a little bit of the pie? For sure. But the people that are doing bigger things and thinking different and creating new opportunities, I think the IM 3.0, in my opinion, is the vertical integration or the flywheel system of hey, I'm training somebody, but I'm now delivering them almost in a recruitment fashion. And I can also consult these companies. So, you have a little flywheel over there. The guy that's just selling random courses and stuff and tossing you up into a group, it'll work. But, in real estate, you'll see that. And then you'll see people back end into a fund or back end into a mastermind or a syndicate or something like that, right? Some sort of investment opportunity. Because that's what people want. They want community, they want results, they want success.
Yeah, I think now too, you just have to deliver so much value, even on your free stuff, because people are just so used to being scammed by all these internet marketers over time, all these so-called gurus. But even if you're delivering tons of value in the free stuff, stuff that you would normally have charged for, these people are still going to come back and work with you because they want to work with you because they trust you and they're willing to pay for that just to have you as their coach or you as their instructor.
There's a book called The Last Sales Book You'll Ever Need or something. Ironically, he's written many since then. But his guy is named Anthony Iannarino, and the main thing I got from that book is that he says you have to become their trusted advisor. And once you become their trusted advisor, then it's another way of saying, in the artist world, have you ever heard the 1,000 true fans? You can become a professional if you have 1,000 true fans.
Yep.
I think if you're an advisor or a consultant or you have this position of authority with 1,000 businesses, let's say, real businesses, think about them. If you reverse engineer the math there, if you have 1,000 businesses and they're each paying, let's say, $1,000 a month, right? And then multiply that times 12, you're at multiple 8-figure company. And then you say, okay, what if they're each paying me $10,000 a month on average because I'm doing their email and their web development and their consulting and their funnels and their social and their paid ads, or I'm getting a kickback on one of those or all of those because I'm their trusted advisor. If you're averaging $5,000 to $10,000 a month for 1,000 companies, you're at $100 million a year.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you don't need, MentorBox had 200,000 students. It's yeah, that's nice. But you know what I would rather have? 500 companies that are consistently paying us $5,000 a month for 7 years. That's real freedom. That's real value. That's real generational wealth that you're building. But you have to earn it over and over and over again. It's you can't churn because you have to stay on the cutting edge and you have to help them. That's why I think a lot of us are moving from courses and packages into service. And coaching is service, but also real services like the assets and monthly recurring. And that, I think, will separate the wheat from the chaff in terms of digital marketers that are always playing this ClickFunnels game forever and ever and ever. It's you might win, but eventually there'll be an Amazon of services. I think that's what we're going for, is let's build $1 billion company for the services where if you don't work with us, it's going to be either us or someone else. And it's if you don't work with that company, they're cheaper and they're better and they're faster.
Yeah.
That's going to happen.
Yeah, it's efficiency and financials are what's going to matter.
I've already seen it happening in like the Shopify side with aggregators, like buying up tons of apps and services. Right now, they're trying to package everything together on that side. So it's only a matter of time before someone else enters the space to do basically exactly what we've been talking about. Like probably there's like a 5-year window maybe before like that is totally eaten up as well.
Yeah, I mean, Tom Shipley's just raised a fund, $100+ million to go buy agencies. He's an agency aggregator with Ava. And, you know, it makes sense because he also has an e-com aggregator. So he aggregates a bunch of agencies, makes a ton of money, then boom, that's the best to go. With the e-com, you just have it's fully integrated, right? Fully integrated and stuff works. So with MentorBox, what was the funnel there? And did you guys have to go negative, or how did you scale that?
Yeah,
because the price point was so little.
Yeah, we started with a physical box during the Blue Apron phase where everyone had a box, like a physical box of something. It was 149. Then we went down to 79, which scaled us up for the physical box. Then we added additional digital products on the back end, but then we flipped it. And so we went to digital on the front end, physical on the back end, and then eventually deleted physical altogether because of cost of goods sold. The main point of the box was actually because we could approach Penguin Random House or HarperCollins or some of the biggest publishers in the world and say, hey, we're going to buy 5,000 copies of your book. And that's how we get like Jocko Willink, or we get Ryan Holiday, or Amy Cuddy, or Pulitzer Prize winners Charles Duhigg, or Mark Manson, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, like the top book in the world for 3 years. Like, we were talking the #1 New York Times bestseller, not, an author that some people know. We were talking at the highest level of the world, Nobel Prize winners, crazy shit. But the only way we were able to do that is because we were buying $50,000, $100,000 worth of their books, and the publisher would put pressure on them to do it. So, but eventually we built up enough social proof where we said, oh, well, Ariana Huffington's on here, she's a billionaire.
So they wanted to do it.
And Reid Hoffman's on here, and he's a billionaire. And, all of a sudden we didn't have to buy any books, and people just said, oh yeah, MentorBox is the thing. Lewis Howes is on there. And so all of the big names were on there. So we just we didn't have to. So since we didn't have to, then we moved over to digital only. And then we played around with all sorts of price points, and $7 was the one that got the highest retention rate. And also, we just did the math. We had a really aggressive upsell funnel. Obviously, I think it's, if Russell Brunson, gives it away, as one of the, it was like over $30 million.
Oh, he stole one of our funnels too.
Yeah, he stole it. So
another reason not to use ClickFunnels.
I mean, he there was an ad. I'm sorry to digress, but there was an ad that I saw, and 2 of our funnels, like one of our physical products was there, and then he was talking about another one of our funnels, and he claimed it as his.
Yeah.
Because it's his. I was like, bro, chill.
Yeah.
Like,
he's monetizing our intellectual property.
Right.
Yeah. But it was aggressive on the back end. There were a couple other subscriptions, and then there was like and then on the very, very back end, we had a high ticket mastermind that was like 15,000, and we did that like once a month. So that allowed, that funded, and we raised a little bit of money, but not too much. But we were usually 3 or 4 months in the red, but someone would stay on for 18 months on average. So we were always, in the long run, we were positive.
What'd you get for the $7? What was I never bought it, so. What was the?
Yeah, every basically you click on a book just like Blinkist, and then it was a video of the author himself. I think our biggest thing was that there wasn't summary. Like if you clicked on Reid Hoffman, his book, what was his book? It doesn't matter. Blitzscaling, the founder of LinkedIn and one of the founders of PayPal. You're talking like this super high level guy. You click on that, and it's actually Reid Hoffman teaching it. So he's summarizing, his book. So that was, I think, our main competitive advantage, is that it wasn't just a summary PDF.
It was by the author.
It was literally the author. We would fly to New York City, we'd fly to San Francisco, we'd fly to LA, we'd fly to Austin or wherever it may be, and shoot with them. And it was usually like 30 minutes to an hour, and we'd go through the main like important chapters, and they were saying this is the most important thing of the book. So it's we were trying to create the idea of what's called a video book. So instead of like an ebook, audiobook is like a video book. So you watch it.
And was that concept like built off of Ty's whole a book a day thing?
Yeah. I mean, Ty's brand for a long time was, he was talking about the importance of reading all the time. And then Alex Mayer, who was the founder of Zeusk, which sold for like $200 million, and super high level Silicon Valley guy. They connected, and then I was the first employee, and we all kind of built it out together. Ty was less involved in the day to day, but he was for sure like the face of the brand at the beginning.
Yeah, and then you and Alex pretty much ran a lot of it, and you became the CEO, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And then you guys exited.
No, it's still just pumping out.
Just
still pumping out some money.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is it still actively gaining subscribers, or just kind of sitting in the same spot?
I don't want to speak on behalf of it. I haven't really been involved in the day to day for a couple of years. But.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that is it for this episode. I want to thank Jonathan and Andrew for coming. We will put, actually, what's the best way to get in touch with you if people want to get in touch with you?
I'm mostly on Instagram, so jonathan.kendall.
What about you?
Yeah, at Sabbatino. And then I always give out my personal cell phone number because I don't care. It's 702-751-2366.
Fuck that. Wow. Fuck that. No way, dude.
I learned that one from Perry.
So my Instagram is at Lowe's Hustle. Definitely not giving out my cell phone. But we appreciate you guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, and join the notifications. Share this with a friend who wants to see this or you feel needs this. And we will talk to you on the next episode. See you guys.
Thanks.